A record-setting performance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Watson Brown Show. Alongside Tennessee Tech head coach Watson Brown, I'm your host, Buddy Pearson. Well, several Golden Eagle individual records were rewritten on Saturday night as Tennessee Tech traveled to Cape Girardeau, Missouri to take on the Redhawks of Southeast Missouri State. And there was some great performances, Coach, Rick Rogers, Trey Lamb, but at the end of the day, the one number that mattered the most, the score, Golden Eagles suffer an excruciating 41-38 double overtime loss to the Redhawks, and boy, for everybody who played so well, I know that's a tough loss to take.
Yeah, it is. It's hard on us, but we deserved it. I mean, we had two major turnovers, Buddy, for run back for touchdowns. We had 10 penalties to their 1 in the game, and we didn't outplay them. We just didn't outplay them in those two areas, and that's hard. But we played so hard. The problem was, so did they. Yeah. They really played hard. Both those teams really got after each other. It was important to both of us, and we just didn't make the plays right at the end to do it. They make 2 field goals at the end. We missed 2 field goals at the end. I think the combination of all those things just kept us from winning the game. We had a shot late in the game to take the ball down like we normally do and score and get an immediate penalty, backed by another penalty, and all of a sudden it's 1st and 30. And so that stopped that drive, and then we had the guy open to make the 30 yards back, and Trey just slightly underthrows the ball. So just little things that we weren't able to pull it out. I was very proud of our kids. We went up there shorthanded in a whole lot of ways,
yeah, a lot of injuries,
and yet still had a chance to win that game. That's what we wanted. We just didn't hardly pull it out at the end.
And, you know, Coach, we talk so much about how similar these two teams are and what kind of games they play against each other. I mean, it was a typical Tennessee Tech Southeast Missouri game. Yeah. And, you know, if you're a fan of football, I mean, it had something for everything. You know, Tennessee Tech is throwing the ball over the field. Southeast Missouri is running the ball over the field. The defenses are coming up with big plays. I mean, it was one of those things where you hate to see somebody lose because both teams played so hard, and it was just such a great football game.
And really, I don't know that anybody deserved to lose. I do think they did outplay us a little bit in some areas that cost us the game, and we've just got to learn from that and get better. I think we did exactly what we could do to set up a chance to win the game, Buddy, with no running backs. We knew we had to throw the ball. We really worked on trying to get the ball to Rick a lot this week in practice and put some things in that were a little different to try to isolate him some. I think the plan worked well. We played good, solid defense, and we didn't give up too many big plays, but then they got us on a big pass in the overtime that picked on one of our new corners, yeah. And we didn't play that very well. And he's a kid that just hadn't played much yet. He's going to be a very good player, but they found him and picked on him a little bit. So we lost all of our holders. I don't know if people understand that that last kick was not a missed kick. It was a bad hold. The ball didn't get on the ground right, and it was laid completely near down.
Really?
And he just had to kick it, and that's our 3rd holder.
Wow.
That was our punter holding on that play because Marty Jones was gone in the first 2 weeks. Ryan Tillman was the next holder. He got hurt late 3rd quarter. We had no holders. And I did a poor job in reacting to that. I didn't realize Ryan wasn't in there. And if I had a timeout left on 4th down, should have called timeout, talked about who the holder was going to be, and might have gone for it just because of that reason.
Right.
But, and sure enough, we don't get the ball down good. And everybody thought Zach just missed that kick. Zach didn't miss the kick. He didn't even have a chance to kick that ball. And those are things you have to deal with as a head coach, and I regret that I didn't do a better job with it.
Well, you certainly don't think you're going to have to go 3 deep on your holder position.
Not in 4 games. I mean, that's a new one to me.
Yeah.
Poor Zach's had 3 holders in 4 games.
Wow.
3 holders in 4 games. I don't know how anybody can kick a ball doing that. And we just got to try to see if we can get that corrected. And it may now have to be Chad Gincini, our punter, because I think now Ryan's out for a while. So we've got some issues with injuries. We know that. I was very proud of the kids to go on the road with a lot of folks out and still have the poise and confidence that we could still win that game.
Well, the Golden Eagles certainly had the offense clicking on all cylinders as we check out the first half highlights brought to you by TTUsports.com. Beautiful night up in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. You couldn't ask for a better evening for football. Golden Eagles come out ready to play. Coach, did you think your team was ready to play?
Oh, absolutely. If anything, I wanted to calm them down. They were really excited about the game and this first drive of the game, and we're right there to make that play. That's where Marty Jones plays, and now we had to move Corey Weber over to free safety to alternate with Taylor Hennigan. And he was right there. We just did not make that first pass, and they caught it for a touchdown. So they go down and score very easily right out the gate. Great throw and catch by Trey to Rick here, and we caught a single coverage, and boy, we found him right out the gate. Here's big play in the game. A lot of our turnovers that we got, we haven't talked about much, but they had 2 scores stopped also by getting turnovers down on their end of the field.
And then a big play here for the Golden Eagles.
Oh, yeah,
the ball
this was well designed, don't you think?
Yeah,
huh?
just like you draw it up.
Just like you draw it up.
Lamb to Ryan Tillman to Steve Wilson.
Ryan didn't get centered up there and wasn't ready for that ball quick enough, really, and so he doesn't catch it, tips it up in the air, and straight to Steve Wilson. Big play for us in the game. This was a big play for them, and again, it looks like this is all Trey's fault. The ball's on the ground. The snap's on the ground.
Right.
He has to turn and pick it up. There's a blitzer coming at him. He sees the open man where he's supposed to go with the ball, but he slightly underthrows it because he's rushed, and that's what causes it. This is not Trey's fault. Our receivers got to come inside and not let that guy break in front of him. If he comes on in slightly more, he catches that for a touchdown. And so both of those interceptions that Trey had for scores, I don't really feel like either one of them were really Trey's fault.
SEMO lead 21-17. Back come the Golden Eagles.
Beautiful play here. That was the primary receiver on the play. He got a little pressure, slid the pocket to the right, kept his eyes on the primary receiver, and found him in the back of the end zone. Just a beautiful play by Trey. And we've seen Trey Lamb do that, buddy, so many times here. And he's such a great scrambler. He's one of the best kids I've ever had at scrambling, looking to throw.
Yeah.
He doesn't scramble to look to run. He keeps his eyes.
Because there were several times where he could have run in the game, and he chose to throw the ball.
Sometimes to a fault, but I'd rather have one always looking to throw and then feel the instinct to run late. And Trey's been so good at it. Being a shorter kid, he's had to be good at that because sometimes he can't. Sometimes he scrambles from pressure.
Yeah.
Sometimes he scrambles because he can't see. And when he can't see well, then he'll move around and find somebody. So hey, that's one of the best traits he's had.
Well, Coach, in the press box at halftime, Tennessee Tech's leading 24-21. We're all talking about all the great stats to Rick Rogers, Trey Lamb, the offense as a whole, but yet you only lead by 3 points.
Yeah, and we gave them 2. If you looked at the stats at the half, it's unbelievable. They only had it 6 minutes.
Yeah.
We kept the ball the whole first half, which was great because they couldn't run the ball. And but both of our interceptions for scores took away all of that keeping the ball and yards and points that we got. But we threw that second interception, which gave them the lead. We came right back down the field and scored again ourselves. I thought that was big to still go into the half with a lead and knock off some of the scars of the 2 interceptions for scores.
Well, the Golden Eagles tried to close out the pesky Red Hawks, but it just wasn't meant to be as we check out the second half highlights brought to you by Miller Lite. Looking at action early in the fourth quarter, SEMO Scott Lathrop has got him knocking on the door, quarterback keeper, and Coach, this puts them up 28-24.
Yes, this gave them the lead again. We had held the lead 24-21, 20, pretty much through the third quarter. There wasn't scoring, but there were moves of the ball, but nobody got in the end zone. We come right back after they go up 28-24 and drive 80 yards and take the lead again at this point 31-28. We had missed a field goal to go up 34-28.
Stephen Bush with the 9-yard run. The Cookeville High Cavaliers came in and rushed 12 times for 32 yards. Drew Gelbach, a 39-yard field goal that ties it at 31. Tennessee Tech on the move.
Here's after the 2 penalties, and this is just a great interception. First of all, that kid's 6'4", and he's an all-conference, 2-year all-conference player. Trey's got that guy open for a first down and just slightly underthrows it. I know that's the one he'd love to get back, but our defense, what a big play.
SEMO's trying to get the game-winning field goal.
They've got a good field goal kicker, and they're ready, and we knock the ball loose and take this thing to overtime. So I give our defense the credit. We don't get to overtime without our defense.
Trey Lamb, Tech on his first overtime possession, scores the touchdown on the keeper. That time he decided to run it.
Yes, that was a design quarterback draw. That was a design quarterback draw. They were spread out to the no-back set, and he kept the ball up the middle. And then one play, and poor Jamil here just kind of freezes and just lets the guy run right by him for an easy score. And that really hurt. That was too easy.
Yeah.
And now we get into the second overtime. They make a field goal, and I couldn't tell if it was touched or not, but
we thought it was touched.
We couldn't tell on our tape, and then we come in. You can't see it right there. If you watch Zach's leg, he don't even kick through the ball.
Yeah.
If he don't even kick through the ball.
No.
So it just came. He couldn't get it down good for him, and we all feel for Zach because it's kind of like the quarterback. Everybody, well, that's the kicker.
Yeah.
That wasn't the kicker. It was a perfect protection, perfect snap. We just don't get the ball on the tee good.
Coach, I know that had to be a long ride back from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. A lot of disappointed players. Good thing, though, it's just the first of several more conference games. And, you know, we've talked about this before. One loss is probably definitely going to win an OVC championship, and 2 losses, even like last year, could get you back in. So your back's against the wall, but there's still that hope.
Well, if you look at the whole thing, what I told our players, the top 4 teams that were picked in the league, Eastern was 1, Jacksonville 2, Murray was 3, we were 4. That was the preseason pick. 3 of those 4 lost.
Yeah.
3 of those 4 lost, and the one that didn't lose was playing at home. The 3 that lost were all 3 road losses. I think it'll be 2. It could be 3 this year.
Yeah.
It could be 3. We got to hang on right now. Our issues are injury, big issues, and we've got to find a way to hang on and find a win here, find a win there. If we can get to our open date, I think we got a great chance to get a lot of these kids back, buddy. May not be right away here, but we can get some of these back. We've got to find a way to win a game right now and hang on. We just got to hang on. Maybe after the open date and we've got 5 to go, we can get on a roll. But times are a little hard for us right now with all these injuries, and our kids are aware of it, and we're going to find a way to win a game.
Well, there was a full slate of action around the Ohio Valley Conference as we check out the OVC scoreboard, brought to you by OVC Digital Network. At Austin Peay, it was UT Martin. That was one of those games for the York Trophy. Martin, a big 31-6 win over Austin Peay. Surprised by that, Coach?
Yeah, I think Martin must be pretty good. They're playing really good defense. Nobody's getting points on them, and that's not usually the Martin teams. They try to outscore you. They're a little. I have yet to see them on tape, but I know Rick's team is usually pretty good against them, especially playing them early in the year while they're still healthy, and that was a surprising score to me.
Well, there was a shootout in Charleston, Illinois, as EIU edges Murray State in overtime 50-49. Casey Brockman, the Racer quarterback, 423 yards, completed 43 passes. Walter Powell there with 13 receptions, and wow, what a game that was.
Those stats are unbelievable. Both of them slinging it all over the field. We've added another fast-paced offense to the league, which I think hurts us a little bit. Now there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
It's us and these 2 teams right here that are lining up and going as fast as they can go, and they're both playing really well right now on offense, for sure. That's rather obvious in the game.
And while Eastern Illinois' win over Murray may have been somewhat of a shocker, to me the big shocker is how much Eastern Kentucky beat Jacksonville State by 51-21.
Turnovers early.
Yeah.
They got them down quick with some big turnovers in the game, but look how they control the Jacksonville State running game.
Yeah.
That's the surprise to me. Pryor played well. He seems to play well against them, but look at that stat below Pryor.
Yeah.
24 carries, 219 yards. Denham's doing it again this year, and we did a great job on him last year, but nobody else did, and he's come right back again this season. That's the best running team in the league right now, and that's why right now I would pick them as the one that everybody's got to go get, because when you can run the ball like that, you're going to be in every football game.
And the only non-conference matchup was Tennessee State, remaining undefeated on the season by defeating Bethune-Cookman 21-14.
And I saw where that was canceled. I don't know if they had a weather deal and stopped it, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know what happened in that game. TSU has played a conference game, though. They've already beaten Austin Peay at home, so they're also 1-0 too. And league looks really good. Looks really good to me.
Yeah, taking a look at the OVC standings, TSU on top, 1-0, 4-0 overall. Eastern Kentucky, UT Martin, Eastern Illinois, and SEMO all there picking up their first conference win. And, of course, everybody who suffered their first loss in Austin Peay down there at 0-2, winless so far on the season.
Well, there's one team, I think, that won on the road, and that was UT Martin. All the road teams lost last week in our league, and 3 of the top teams in our league, picked-wise, are already 0-1. So look out. There's no telling what's going down this league this year.
Well, it's time now for our Golden Eagle Player Profile, brought to you by the TTU Athletics Association. This week we learn more about a player whose blood has always run purple and gold, and that's Taylor Hennigan.
my major is EXPW licensure, which is basically teaching physical education, and I want to be able to coach high school football or college, either one. Well, I've been playing football, I guess, my whole life. I didn't play organized football until high school, and my brothers and my dad, I guess, got me started. Playing at the school where my dad coached has been an honor. He hasn't really pressured me into trying to be as good as he was or anything like that. No, I don't feel like I play under the shadow. He was obviously a great player, and he's never put any pressure or anything like that on me. So, very special. That was a major factor to play where I grew up and stay close to my friends and family. Best player on this year's team, I think you got to throw Trey Lamb out there, Adam Urbano, Will Johnson. All those guys are great players. I don't think you can narrow it down, really. We got a lot of good players. They're all good. All the workouts are good. Coach Pugh obviously does a good job. I think flexibility is something that I've gotten a lot better with at my time at Tech. It meant a lot to be the first one to win it. Obviously, I wasn't a senior last year, but to be the first one to win it in 36 years was awesome. I hope we can win another one this year. He was happy. I think just as a dad, just like any other dad was, he was proud. My position coach is Coach Powell. He's very intense, likable guy, knows what he's doing, teaches the game well, easy to play for. I'm Taylor Hennigan.
Coach Taylor Hennigan comes from a good family. Of course, Mike Hennigan was a great linebacker and then coached the Golden Eagles, and I guess you could say he was destined to be a Golden Eagle.
I'm glad he was. He's been a big plus to our program since he came. He's been a special teams guy. He's been a backup safety to us. Now he's a starting safety, alternating with Corey Weber, playing in games because we lost Marty Jones, and I'm just very proud of Taylor. He's a winner. Taylor's a winner. He's a winner on the football field. He uses every piece of ability, in my personal opinion, he has. Got great football sense. I'm sure a lot of that comes from being a coach's son and doing that. And he's a winner off the field. Everything he does with class. He's been a really good student. He just represents this football team. Seems like a recording. That's what I seem to say about the ones you all are picking to put on here. But another one of the top class athletes on our football team, in my opinion.
And Coach, you were an outstanding football player, and to have a son who also played football, I'm sure, it's one of those things where when you're a son of a great former, football player, there is sort of a shadow, but, I doubt you put a lot of pressure on your son, Steven, and I don't think Mike does the same thing with Taylor.
No, I did not at all. It is harder. There's no doubt it's harder. I had a daughter that was a basketball player that had some of the same issues, and Steven ended up coming to play for me, which even made it worse. But he was a quarterback in high school just like Taylor was. But my son said, I'll come, but I don't want to play quarterback. I don't want to be the head coach's son playing quarterback. I want to play receiver. Yeah. And he did and was a good player. So, yeah, that proves to you right there there's more to it. And Taylor's handled that really well. Mike is one of the top player. Well, he is the top player coach. Probably he and Jim Ragland would be the top that's ever been here. But he's one of the top 5 or 6 players that's ever played at the school. And so there's a lot to own up to, that hold up to when your daddy was that kind of player.
Well, it's time now to go inside Golden Eagle football, brought to you by Mid-State Sports Medicine. This week, we look at the young man who worked so hard behind the scenes, but they mean so much to the Golden Eagle program, and we're talking about the managers. Let's take a look.
John, tell us what it takes to prepare all this equipment and get the team ready for a road trip.
It takes a whole lot. You have a lot of organization that goes into it. You have to make sure that we have everything ready, make sure that we have everything on the truck, make sure that everything's there whenever we get there. There's just a whole lot of organization throughout the whole week. As soon as we get finished with one game, we immediately start preparing and getting ready for the next one. The most difficult part is making sure that we have everything. That's a constant thing. We constantly have to go through and double check I constantly go through, especially the jerseys. The jerseys are probably one of the hardest things to make sure that we have those and we have the right amount, we have the right name on the back of it, the name spelled right, and all that kind of stuff too. So.
And how do you manage all this, working with all this equipment for the entire team, and you're also a student yourself? How do you find the time to do that?
Oh, it's very difficult, but I have worked it out to where that I can I know my schedule well enough that I know when I can do what. Fortunately, I have other students, that work with us that they can kind of pick up whenever I'm not able to be here because I'm in class. It's just a lot of work after hours and that kind of thing, but we work it out. So,
take us through kind of the day-to-day operation of setting up for practice with you and your staff.
Pretty much with practice, we all have our schedules worked out to where especially the freshmen and those guys can come and set up the practice field. We each have like our own responsibilities during practice. For instance, I'm in charge of doing the clock, which is how we keep up with how long our practice is gone. The other managers, one of them is with the defense, one's with special teams, one's with offense, and we have another one that just kind of roams. So we delegate those duties during practice so we kind of have it all organized and under control.
How many people do you have working for you on a day-to-day basis?
We actually have 8 guys that work with us on a day-to-day basis. 3 of them are true freshmen. The other ones, all the rest of them are anywhere from a junior to a senior. We have a little bit of experience, but we also have a lot of young people that have not been involved with football before. So it's a learning experience for them, and it's a learning experience for me at the same time, trying to teach them and help them, through the process of how we do things and why we do things the way that we do it.
Well, a coach once told me that a good manager is equal to 2 good players. Coach, is that true?
Maybe more than that. John has been fantastic. We're going to lose him sooner or later. He's going to graduate. He's a real good student. John was taught by Dog Daggett, who was our full-time manager, and we haven't had one since Dog passed away. But John was taught by Dog, and he's carried on just like we've got a full-time manager. The poor guy just not getting paid, other than a scholarship. A lot of these kids are on some aid and getting some of their schooling paid for, and it's still not near enough, buddy. The hours these guys put in, they'll be here lots of times long after I'm gone sometimes, and it's really work. They take so much pride in it here, and I'm just so very proud. If there's a group I'm as proud of on this whole organization, it's that group of managers.
Yeah, it's good to see them get some recognition. Well, TTU student athletes love to interact with kids in the community. The Golden Eagle basketball team recently visited a local elementary school for story time as we check out the TTU athletes in the community, brought to you by Pepsi.
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P Q-R-S-T-U-V W-X-Y-and-B. Oh, so is it? I thought it's A-B-C-D. So is it?
I like your mohawk. I've never had one of those. How tall are you? That's my hip.
How tall is your dad? Patrick, you can go. Patrick.
So what's your name? Yeah. I can slam dunk. Hey, what's your name? Kian?
How old I am?
Sure.
I'm 5.
You're 5?
My brother's 6 and my sister's 2.
Wow.
Tiptoes, tiptoes, tiptoes.
Today I'm going to be reading One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. Some are thin and some are fat. The fat one has a yellow hat. See those little yellow hat? From there to here, from here to there. Funny things are everywhere.
Coach, that's about my level of reading right there.
Maybe being good to yourself. That right there is fantastic.
Yeah.
That to me is what it's all about. You just saw the look in those kids' eyes and starstruck, and for the basketball players to go in there and you can tell they're genuine with them. There was no, well, I got to go do this. They were. That's what to me athletics is all about, and college athletics is all about, is to train young people to want to do the same thing, because I think athletics is so great for somebody that can do it, and that really was a good piece.
Yeah. Well, some folks have been awfully busy, Coach. They've had their phone out. They've been tweeting some questions. Of course, they've been tweeting it to @TTU Golden Eagles. Some questions we have for you that have been tweeted in.
The tweeters?
Yeah. One fan wants to know, could you please throw 18 passes to Derrick Rogers at a home game so we can see him make all those catches?
That might have been a one-time. I think they'll hunt him a little more now. What do you think?
Yeah, I
you
think
figure
they'll be
Murray might be looking for him a little bit this week.
Another question, will Adam Urbano and Bud Golden be available for the Murray State game?
We hope so. That could be a big comeback for us. We just didn't have running backs last week, and Stephen Bush did a great job. We brought Radir Anur out of a red shirt. Hated to do that, but we had to. And both of those two kids have a chance to come back this week, but we're not sure yet as the time we're airing this on a Monday.
Yeah, and Coach, one question about the offensive line. Is the line staying healthy? How deep are you up front? And who are some of the players besides the starting five who's getting some action?
We're playing Randall Reeves more now. We're playing Jabrin Longet. He's a true freshman. We're playing Brett Dillard, who's a true freshman, some more. Those are probably the big three that are going to start playing even more than they have been. We like to settle in, buddy, to about 8 guys in the offensive line when we get going, and I think we're getting close to that now.
Well, it's time now to start talking about this week's opponent. Tennessee Tech heads to Murray, Kentucky to take on the Racers of Murray State. And, Coach, we've been there before, and it's not one of my favorite places to go.
We haven't played well there. 2 years ago when we went, we had 11 people out, if you remember.
I do remember.
And that was a tough deal. Now we're dealing with a little of that again. It's something about right when we get ready to play Murray. This was a killer loss to us last year. We lose by 1 point on a missed extra point at the end of the game.
Yep.
And it looked like we may have knocked ourselves out of a chance to win the championship, and turned around and went back to Eastern Kentucky next week and won. So Murray's been hard on us. They're a good team, very good offensive football team.
You can always expect a great game, and for those of you who want to follow the Golden Eagles, you can listen to the game live on Magic 98.5. The broadcast will begin at 5:30. Coach, we wish you a safe trip, one more road game, and then you come home for a few at home, and wish you the best of luck this week.
Thanks, buddy. Looking forward to it.
All right, for Tennessee Tech head coach Watson Brown, I'm Buddy Pearson. You've been watching the Watson Brown Show presented by IWC Cash and Carry. We'll see you next week right here on the Watson Brown Show.
The Watson Brown Show has been brought to you by IWC Cash and Carry, Miller Lite, Mid-State Sports Medicine, and Pepsi.